everybody.
Did you take it off mute?
Yeah, it's off mute.
Okay.
But it has to come through here. It's not coming through yet. It takes a while to get there. So people can see us. Okay. There we go. Okay, it takes a while. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anita. Hi, Donna. Hi, Teresa. How's everybody doing? My hair's a mess. Need a haircut. Can't get one. Walter's hair, number A or B. Either one are a mess.
Yeah, I'm actually, no, it's getting long because I have bedhead when I wake up.
Oh, bedhead. Well, there's something interesting. So we'll just wait a couple of seconds here, see who else is getting on or coming on. Welcome, everybody. Don't be shy. Say hello. You know, you can say hello even when you're lurking. You know, you can join in the conversation or not.
Hot
laughing out loud.
Yeah.
Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. What's printing? Well, I'm printing a garden gnome, actually, right now. He's going to be working through the night. He's a large guy. He takes over 1 day to print, and I started him at about 7:30 this morning. So, hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Jules. I haven't seen you for a while, Bonnie. Where you been? What you been doing? So we're just
we're looking up the weather here.
What are you looking up? The weather? What's our temperature?
23 degrees.
23 degrees Celsius here. So it was warmer last couple of days. Today's a little bit cooler because we were up over 30 earlier in the week. But anyways, that's okay. I don't mind if it's warm. I can take it.
That's 73 Fahrenheit.
Oh, well, that's just room temperature, really. Anita says, great, we are closing on our house on Friday. Great, wow, Anita.
That's fast.
That's fast, yeah. And just looking to see who else is talking here. Okay, well, I think we can probably get started. And I'm assuming everybody can see us and hear us. I did remember to turn on the mic this time, so that's a good thing. So, what's up? Well, let's talk about my mother. Shall we? Why not? What the heck? So, did I talk to her in the past week? No, I did not. I was scheduled for a FaceTime on Tuesday, but I got a call from them over from her nursing home. She was in bed, and I said, is she not feeling well? No, she's just a little tired. Yeah, okay, she didn't want to take my call or whatever. I don't know. And I said, you know, she's been tired a lot lately. She did have a medication change, and I asked them, could that cause her to be tired, or is she just pulling a stunt? I said, well, it could. You know, she could feel that way for up to 6 weeks on the change of medication. And I said, well, okay. Hi, Wendy. I don't know. So anyways, I never rebooked to have a FaceTime with her. And I got a call later in the week that my mother's going to be moved again. So this time it's supposed to go through. They've got the COVID cases are all resolved at the new nursing home that she's going to. So come this Thursday, she is moving. So I have to call Bell to disconnect her services because those can't be moved to the new home because the new home is on Rogers. And I really don't know what that involves yet. It sounds to me like, and I think I've told you this before, it sounds to me like it's incorporated into her monthly charge for her accommodation and food and everything, which is fine by me. And if they're going to arrange for things to be hooked up, then that's good too. But we'll see what we will see. So my sister, I contacted my sister. I texted her and told her, okay, Mom's moving on Thursday. I'm making arrangements to pick up her television and telephone equipment and everything earlier in the week and whatnot. And she says, well, she called my mother on Monday. I told her I didn't get a hold of her on Tuesday. She was in bed. And she said, well, she talked to her on Monday. And on the phone, this one has me a little mystified because my mother never answers the bloody phone when I call it, and that's why I use FaceTime. But apparently my sister gets her on the phone. So I don't know what that's all about.
Well, she said sometimes she calls and there's somebody else in the room, so maybe her
it's just
timing is good for when she gets her pills. Or something.
Maybe it is. I don't know. But then she said to me, a relative of mine, actually my father's first cousin, who was up in her, well, she was 80, late 80s. She passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I had told my mother about that and everything. And my sister said, well, she'd mentioned it to my mother on Monday. My mother didn't have a clue who she was talking about. And my sister's theory is that my mother's losing it, that she's getting dementia or something, and all this kind of stuff. My sister says this to me all the time, and yet when I call my mother and I discuss these things with her, my mother knows exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, I check her memory all the time when I talk to her because I build in little questions and things to see what she will say.
I think it's just because your sister talks so fast that,
well, maybe
she may tune her out, and then does.
I don't know what it is. But anyway, so, and it's like, the way my sister puts it to me is like I'm supposed to do something about it. Well, what can I do about it?
Yeah, I know. My sisters used to do that when my mom was in the nursing home too. They'd call me and tell me a problem, and I was my mother as if I could do anything about it. And
when then my sister says she thought my mother should have her hearing checked out because she doesn't think her hearing is very good. Well, my mother has selective hearing. All ladies have selective hearing, from what I understand from the married men out there, that basically women hear what they want to hear. At least that applies to my mother. I know you're all going to jump on my throat now, aren't you? But yeah, I don't know. Sure, her hearing probably isn't 100%.
Yeah, but the problem is, as we talked about that before, is that if she goes to get tested and gets hearing aids, those hearing aids are tiny. They'll be
she'll get rid of it. She'll like her teeth.
Or she won't like wearing them.
No.
And they'll end up in a drawer.
So these are things that I can wait and inquire about once she gets into the new home. Once we get out of COVID, they are allowing you now, if you've had the COVID shot, if you've had the first shot, they will allow you to now book an outdoor meeting, and you have to, wear a face mask, disinfect, stay 6 feet away, all this kind of stuff with them. But I'm not booking those yet with my mother because, one, she doesn't really like those. That's effort. Even though someone else would be taking her out onto the patio or whatever, that is still effort for my mother, and she doesn't like anything that constitutes effort. And second of all, I haven't had the second shot yet, and I'm not jumping at the gun for this. I do FaceTime when she's not in bed every week with her, so I figure that's good enough right now. So we'll wait and see. So anyways, we have Thursday coming up, the big move. I'm a little apprehensive about it because I don't know if all her stuff is going to get there, and I can't go in, and I can't help get things sorted out and whatnot. In some ways, yeah, great, wonderful. I don't have to worry about it, but I do. So, but I'm that kind of person. I'm a worrier. So, anyways, what were you going to say?
Oh, nothing. I just noticed that Bonnie said a while back that she was busy getting her mom moved into a veterans nursing home.
A veterans?
See at the top? See the big B?
Oh, yeah. Mom, veterans nursing home. Yeah, isn't it fun moving them in to all this stuff?
And hopefully you can get a spot that's available because out in Ontario, the waiting lists are so long.
Are years. Years
into
long.
the homes. It's unreal.
The way I got my mother in, and I told the story a long time ago, so I'm not going to dwell on it. Basically, I had to be a son of a bitch with everybody because they wanted to put her anywhere but in a nursing home. They wanted to put her in a retirement residence, which she could not afford, then would not have the facilities that she needed for this. They tried everything, and I had to be really firm, and I had to be a bitch. I really did. And it paid off, but you shouldn't have to be that way. Hi, Judy. So what else are people saying here? So Bonnie, how old's your mother?
Yeah, well, I think she's really old because I think she was talking about her before that she was still living on her own and she's like
Oh,
well
that's
way
right.
up there.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Um, yeah, Dana, I hope so too. Hi, Renee, or Renee. Is it Renee or Renee? From South Dakota. And Marilyn, I don't think I said hello to you. And yeah, moves are very difficult no matter what kind they are. And of course, they're more difficult right now given the situation we're in. So Bonnie says, took me a couple of months, but she is a World War II vet and now not many left with us. She's 97. Wow.
Wow.
And she was
Still living on her
own.
own.
Wow, that's amazing. Good for
There
her.
was a lady I met in my mom's nursing home that she had just moved in. She was 95, and the only reason she moved in is because she fell or something and she damaged her leg or something. But the year before that, she was still sailing her sailboat.
Well, I remember many, many, many years ago when I was, either, 17, 18, 19. I might have been in university. I don't know. I remember going with my grandmother and my mother out to visit somebody my grandmother knew. And I'm not sure why we went to this. But this lady lived in basically a log cabin in a field. She was in her upper 90s. She lived on her own. And she was still cooking on, when you walked into her house, it was like something that came out of Little House on the Prairie. It was a log cabin. She had one of those old stoves that took firewood. She did not have an electric stove. She had electricity. I mean, she wasn't way out in the wilderness, but she was back off of a country road somewhere, surrounded by fields. And she was looking after herself. I have no idea why we went to visit this old lady. I don't remember a lot about it. I just remember thinking, oh my God, you walked through the front door of her place and it was like you'd walked back a century. But remarkable. She looked after herself. She cooked all her own meals. She had to put wood in this stove. And I don't know if she had a service or she did it herself. I don't think she did it herself. Splitting the logs and stuff, but there it was. It was all piled up, and when we were there, she made everybody a cup of tea, and she had some homemade cookies, I remember, and just a remarkable lady. So, we should all be...
It's even like that lady that was in the nursing home a couple of years ago when we went to that Mother's Day thing.
Oh, yeah, right.
And she was at our table, and she was over 100. I can't remember how old, over 100. And she was still cognitive, and I thought didn't look too bad for somebody being that old.
Yeah, I know. She was more spry than my
mother.
She
was in a wheelchair, but still.
But no, she was with it, like really with it. So let's see. Marilyn says, I've had hearing aids for years, and they're so small that they would be impossible for her. I have lost a couple myself, and they're expensive. Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
I mean, she's not totally deaf. She can hear you still or something.
Oh, she can hear pretty well.
Yeah.
And
last year, you complained about her hearing, and they checked it out, and she had a lot of wax in her ear.
Yeah.
Remember?
They cleaned out the, her ears, kind of a thing. Hi, Angel. Hi, We Quilt Studio. And, well, glad you're getting a fix of us there, dear. Nita says, I had a great aunt who lived by herself till late 98. She lived to be 102. Yeah, it's remarkable.
Yeah, even people across the road here, they're in their 90s. And I saw the lady out there the other day doing her gardening, so.
I don't know. I could be wrong, and I'll find out maybe someday. But I really feel that, I think there's something to the adage, you're old as you feel. But I think if you keep yourself going and don't give up. See, essentially that's what my mother did. She gave up. After my father passed away, she went into depression. She just gave up. And that's the way she's been ever since. And yeah, I get it. But, it's hard, but life goes on, You get out of life what you put into it, really. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but in a way, it's very, very true. Bonnie said, yes, she's amazing. Mom is cognitive as well. Mom lived on her own until December of 2020. And I have a 103-year-old aunt living, Bonnie says, on her own in her home. Like, every time I hear stories about people in that age, it gives you hope. At least it gives me hope. Like, I think if you can keep yourself going, like...
When you don't get, like, some major disease or something.
Yeah, like I mean, health is one thing, but I think a lot of it is mental, too. Keeping yourself going, you know, trying new things, keeping your brain active, I guess. We'll see in 20 years' time whether I still feel the same way. Of course, at that point, I may be sitting in a chair drooling, going, who are you? But anyways, who else have I? Oh, hi, Joan. Hope I didn't miss anybody. I said hi to Angel and to Quilt and Marilyn. Yep, and everybody. But anyway, so that's what's coming up with my mother. So let's move on. So what's Walter been up to? Well, he's been doing gardening and yard work. Tell us about that, Wally.
I let the grass in our backyard sort of die last year, so I've been trying to rejuvenate it.
The grass has been dead every year since we've lived in this house.
Yes, because we don't water it.
Yeah, and when he says we, he. I don't do yard work.
Yeah, so I've been busy doing yard stuff this week. And planting stuff and getting the gardens looking half decent. I keep thinking it's later in the year, and I keep having to remind myself it's May because it seems awfully warm for May.
Yeah. No, we Quilt Studio. My mother is not adorable. Believe me, she is. That's not a word I would use with my mother. There are other words I could use with my mother, but she is my mother, and I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. Hi, Marilyn, the other Marilyn. Are the shirts your creation, Walter? This one is, yeah.
This one isn't. It's just a Kirkland. The one that Steve's wearing is one of mine.
It's mine now. I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Gave it
and I only have two in the closet that are mine. They're like that. And I'm working on another one, but I haven't finished it. And I've got a class starting tomorrow where we're doing a different style of shirt. And I discovered halfway through, I was cutting it out today, and I realized halfway through I had the wrong size. I had a size bigger than I wanted. So I had to reprint the pattern and recut the fabric. Luckily, the pieces that I had were all... But luckily, I was going down a size, so all I had to do was trim off some of the edges on the pieces that I had already done. So,
yeah. Well, you've been working on the backyard, but he's also been planting our garden, our deck garden, again this year. So what do we got out there? What have you planted?
We got some lettuce and a couple of tomatoes and some herbs.
Herbs. H is silent.
So I've got some pepper plants and stuff that I still have to decide what to do with.
Yeah, and then we said the lettuce. We got some peppers.
Yeah.
Let's see what those do this year. He planted stevia.
Well, I saw it there. I thought, what the hell?
So, but you can eat the leaves of the stevia, and I tried one, and they actually are sweet. So I'm thinking I might throw a few in salads and stuff like that. And we have an abundance of chives, which I did not... These are chives were left over from last year.
They're left over from like about 5 years ago.
Are they?
They keep popping up every year. They don't seem to die.
And they're in a container. And they sit out on the winter on our deck, and they get covered in ice and snow and everything like that, and then they pop right back up. Now, I just figured, what do you do with chives? Maybe some of you have a suggestion.
You can throw it in a salad.
Yeah, well, you said that yesterday, and I said, well, yeah, but they don't really have any taste. Well, I was wrong. I guess I've never really bothered
they have a mild onion taste.
Yeah, they taste like onion. Actually, they're kind of good, so I'll have to remember when I'm making salad next time to clip some of those off and throw them in. I got to make a point of throwing a lot of herbs in our salads this summer because we're growing them out there and use them up. But we've got some parsley too. And you bought a flower. What was it? A dippy-thippy thing?
Dipladenia. Because of our backyard, our back deck is out in full sun all day long.
A dipladenia.
Dipladenia.
A dipladenia.
I think that's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Or think it's.
Is that what they gave us next door last year?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a very hardy plant, and it lasts I think it's. I'm not sure if I called it right. It lasts. They last through drought and hot sun. So.
Well, that's a good place for there.
That deck.
Because everything gets killed there. Oh, we quilt still Lisa. Okay, I couldn't remember. Sorry.
Yeah. It's also called a rock trumpet.
Do you have a picture of it there? Hold it
yeah,
up.
it's not very good likeness.
Well, actually, tomorrow on my vlog, I've already done a little short video showing all the stuff Walter's planted out in the deck. So tune in if you want to see what it looks like. So Jonathan, I'm just trying to catch up here. Anita says it's 86 in Ohio. Teresa says mashed potatoes for chives. I have never put them in mashed potatoes, but that's an idea. I've always just had them like chopped up and thrown on a baked potato with sour cream kind of a thing. So, chives are perennial herb. They're great in eggs. Oh.
Yeah, like a egg salad or something.
Oh, okay. Well, chives. Who knew? The new green food. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, he's been busy doing that. And you've got a new class, don't you, starting tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm doing that. I was cutting the pattern out today for that class.
Yeah,
and I realized when I was cutting out the pattern, I thought, geez, this yoke is awfully big. and sure enough, I started measuring it compared to my other shirts, and it would have been like monster size.
Geez, good thing you're not on the great British Sewing Bee.
Yeah, so like I said, okay, that's I got to be careful about that. And sure enough, I looked up the pattern, and I must have missed it. I don't know, I must have missed it or something. And misread the pattern or something, and came up with a different size than what I wanted. Patterns are weird because the sizing is depressing on the patterns. Like normally I'll if I buy a shirt in a store, I'll buy a large or something, and the patterns all are like for the same size or either extra large or 2 extra large, which is kind of depressing.
What size was this shirt when you made it?
That's a 2 extra large.
What?
Yeah.
I am not a 2XL.
No, I know. That's why I was cutting the pattern in the other one as a 2XL.
I mean, I figured it was a large, because that's what I buy.
And I know the patterns are really bizarre size-wise.
Jeez.
See, that's why I was cutting the other one as a 2XL. But then I realized that the company that made the pattern for the one that I was cutting out today is a different company than this one. So.
Well, Wendy says Chinese also for chives, I guess. If you're making Chinese food, I guess you could throw them in anything. Well, since they taste like onions, in a sense, so instead of buying green onions, we should just chop up chives and stuff. That'd be okay.
Wow, it's been a week.
What?
They had to replace. Oh yeah, that's right. You replaced your water heater, then your air conditioner has to be replaced. I mean, but it's your landlord.
Well, it's the landlord. And Anita, when you sent me that email about your water heater and that, it sounds like you're getting out just right. It sounds like your landlord is a bit of a prick. Anyways, but when I tell him tomorrow that we are moving. Oh, you haven't told him yet?
Uh-oh.
Ah. So
you have to give him a certain amount of notice that you're moving, or?
Yeah.
I mean, here they usually tell you, I don't know how much time they have.
I don't know. I don't know what the law is.
We haven't
been
in a rental in so long.
Yeah, oh, hello, Mr. Leon. Oh, and Kathleen says sizing hasn't changed for decades on patterns. No, but
the patterns I'm using are brand new patterns. They've just been developed. So.
Oh, but
it varies a lot depending on what pattern I've got. So I'm kind of going by sizing of measurements on the chest and everything. And one is the company that
Hi,
that
Andy.
shirt. I think that was a Sinclair pattern. The chest sizing and stuff on it translates to a 2XL, but on the one that I'm working on right now, the same chest size translates to an XL. So,
Well, it's the same when you go in to buy clothes, which I have not done in a year and a half. But I am one size. Yes, my size fluctuates, not in the right direction. But you go in and you get a pair of 36 waist and pants. Well, I can try on a pair of 36 and they'll be too big. I can try on another brand in a 36 and they'll be too small. There is no consistency in sizes. And it's the same with shirts.
Yeah, you're right. That it doesn't matter. It doesn't match rack sizing.
And Kathleen says they don't match off the rack sizing as changes. We have grown larger.
It's just like remember you were in Australia we were in Australia in 2016, and you you were shopping for a shirt, and you ended up with something like a 3XL or something.
Yeah,
like
I couldn't believe it. I went in and I bought a shirt, and I grabbed for a large because that's usually what I have here. Large, that wouldn't have fit a small girl in large. So I went to the extra large. Nope. I went to the 2XL. Well, sorta, but not really. I had to buy a 3XL. I couldn't believe it. A 3XL.
And you're
I am not a 3XL.
No, well, no.
I'm not even close to a 3XL. Not by Canadian standards, believe me.
Yeah, so I don't know what fat people wear.
Yeah. Well, ask the little bubbles out in the pool next door. Whoa. Next door, they've got an above-ground pool, and they have 2 boys, and those boys are not failing any. They're, I don't know if...
Well, both parents aren't
skinny either. But, like those boys, that is not good for their health at all.
They're very...
I mean, it's kind of sad because neither one of them is yet high school age, I don't think. I'm not sure how close the older one is.
I mean, I haven't seen them for a while because of the winter. And I saw them outside the other day, and I thought, oh my God, they've really put on weight.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not talking tiny boys. And the thing is, they're not like big boys as in big boys bone structure, 6'6", you know, kind of size or anything like that. They're not that. They're just, wow. They're going to have some health problems, I think. I don't know, maybe it is a hormonal thing, I don't know. But, I mean, both their parents are kind of large, but boy, those boys, when they get to high school, if they're that size then, they're going to have a hell of a time. But anyways, because kids are not nice. You're right, Walter, different company sizes vary. And I said hello to Andy, she's here. Sure. Anita says, on sewing patterns for clothing, you have to go by the finished garment measurements to get the right size.
Yeah.
I guess. I know nothing about that because I don't sew clothes. And after we've been blitzing the Great British Sewing Bee, this is our show go-to. And after watching those people and what they do, there's definitely no way I would ever try to sew a garment. In fact, I was doing hand sewing this afternoon. We had a Canadian men's quilting sew day, and I just finished a quilt. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. I have a picture of it. But I decided after the hell that I went through on that quilt that I was sort of worn out. I didn't want to start a new quilt. So I had this kit that I've had for a while. It's just a little wall hanging of some little cats kind of a thing you put together. So I have to do applique on it. And then I got this wise idea that there was an applique bell you put on the collar of each cat. Well, I thought, no, let's use a real bell, because I had some of those little bells, you know, you buy them for Christmas decorations or things like that. And I thought, well, I'll hand sew these on. Yeah, there was blood, mine. And I am suck so bad at hand sewing that it's not funny, but I did get them on. But anyways, I'll show that to you at the Idiot Quilter later this week. So, anything else you've been working on this week? You washed my car.
Yeah, I did. Wow.
Yay.
Washed both our cars.
Yeah. Didn't clean the interior of mine.
No, I haven't cleaned.
Didn't need to. Mine's not dirty, but yours
it all started off because during the winter I was having trouble with some of the brakes in my car, and one brake was kind of rusty, and it spewed rust all over my the hub of my wheel, and it's been like that since I had it fixed.
Hmm.
And so I have one wheel that looked all rusty. So I was cleaning it up, and it was stuck on pretty good, so I had to use a scouring pad to get it off. And I cleaned it all up, and then I realized, all the other wheels look lousy. So I went and cleaned all the other wheels. And one thing led to another. I ended up cleaning the car. So.
Yeah, well, anyways, got my car washed too, so that's fine. My car doesn't move anyways. How was my back tire?
It's okay.
Okay, I have one back tire that has sort of a
Slow leak in it.
slow leak, which
They're brand new tires.
they're brand new tires. So,
I think it's the rim.
yeah, you think it's the rim. Well, when we get out of COVID, maybe I'll think about a rim. I don't know. If I want to go anywhere, he drives me. So, driving
You really
Miss Daisy.
should drive that car a little bit.
Yeah, we keep saying that, but we don't. Anyways, what Kathleen says, upcoming embroidery projects. No. I do have a...
Yeah, you used my machine like crazy to do all these embroidery projects, and then you get your own machine.
Well, I don't wreck
and
mine.
you don't do any.
But I don't want to wreck mine. Really. I was in that strong and free quilt mode,
Oh,
which I'm going to talk about later on. But yeah, I got to find something that inspires me. I've got to take a look over at OESD and Scissor Tails and Urban Threads and see if there's some projects there I'm interested in. Actually, the project I want to work on next, after I get this little wacko kitty thing done, is I've got a bag I want to make. And it's called the In Control Bag, and it's by Bags by Annie, or by Annie, I guess is just what they call it. Her patterns, I've never done them before, but everybody says so, that
but actually, that pattern that I have for that other one, that bag that I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
That during the middle of COVID, we stopped going to those classes.
Yeah.
I was going to a class to make this bag called, what was it?
Oh, it was the one with the dividers and everything.
Yeah, it was
right?
the one with the dividers. And as we were doing it, I was not liking it. I was not liking the class. Anyway.
Why weren't you liking the class?
I just don't like the bag.
Oh. So I thought that was a really interesting bag.
I know. So anyway, our class got interrupted by COVID, and we've never gone back to that class. So, and so all my stuff is sort of sitting in a bag. It's an unfinished project. It was a thing by Annie as well. But I guess the teacher that was teaching the class was complaining at how poorly written it was.
Oh. Well, yeah, but the teacher teaching that class, I've taken
She doesn't read, right?
Yeah, I've taken a couple of classes with her before, and she knows what she's doing. But she sometimes deviates from the pattern and says there's a better way to do this. She does what she's comfortable with, which is fine. And she's a good teacher. I did a bag with her. I think I did a couple of bags with her. But I've heard that by Annie bags, the instructions are extremely detailed and very easy to follow. Well, we'll see. I bought this pattern online, and I also paid extra to have access to their online video tutorials that go along with it. It was $5.
Yeah,
in fact,
Bonnie's one, she has videos with her patterns. So.
Yeah. And so,
that helps.
I actually got a coupon with the pattern for $5, which is exactly how much the video add-on cost. So you got a free video add-on. And I've watched a little bit of those and gone through them. But I had to wait until I got all the equipment. And I discovered someone on here or on the Idiot Quilter told me about a place out west. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it on the Idiot Quilter this week, called Pac Cana. And I ordered a bunch of stuff from them, and they're not a quilt shop, but they have sewing supplies. They're like a wholesaler. So I bought a whole ream of zippers, because at 19 cents a zipper, how could I not? Or 19 cents a yard, because I bought zippers by the yard. It was ridiculously cheap for a lot of stuff, and I needed some nylon webbing for the handles for this bag, so I bought those, and those were like ridiculously cheap. In fact, I bought all kinds of, I have enough nylon webbing to last me forever, and I bought some interfacing and some other stuff too. But anyways, now I have all the stuff I need to make this bag, and I think that's going to tackle the next project. I hesitate on it because I really want to make it. It looks like a really cool bag. I think it'd be great to taking it to classes, or if you're going, you know, for art supplies as well as sewing supplies. I'm a little hesitant because it does look like it might be a bit of a challenge, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. So
Marilyn says, my bag's sitting in a bag. Actually, it's sitting in a bag that I made.
yeah, that's right. Just backing up here. Bonnie says, I love urban threads. Their embroideries are different. I made the Bianni overnight bag. Love it. So, Bonnie, did you find that the pattern was fairly straightforward, that you were able to follow it easily enough? Also, Urban Threads, by the way, and Scissortail are all owned by OESD. Those are subsidiaries of theirs. So usually when one has a sale, you can use the same sale code on all three of the sites. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, I like,
no, she said,
I like the Urban Threads.
Yeah, Bonnie says she didn't have any issues. They were very detailed. So, yeah. Marlene says, another thank you, Stephen, for the tip on the freestanding lace hemostat tool. Works wonderful. Also found fray check was easy for keeping the buttons in place.
Actually, I use a glue.
Yeah, I use a fabric glue that dries clear. That's what I put on. But fray check would work too. Yeah, so. Okay, I'll hold you to that, Bonnie. If I do, I'm going to blame you. Simple as that. Don't say it. Yeah, bugger off. Anyway, so that's all Walter's been working on. What have I been working on? Well, I finished my Strong and Free quilt. I'm going to put a picture of it up here for you. If you'll just give me a second, bear with me. And this should be coming up here in just a second. This was a pattern by a man named Paul Leger. Paul Leger is the leader of our Canadian men quilters. Just saw him today. And he designed this for Quilts of Valor, and I'm sure most people are familiar with Quilts of Valor. It's where they people make and donate quilts to veterans. There's a branch of it in the United States. There's a branch here in Canada. And yeah, this was a bitch. Well, it wasn't really a bitch. The pattern itself is fairly easy, but I don't know what happened, but none of my measurements came out the same as his measurements in the pattern. I made it work, but you can see I did a lot of quilting. This quilt is over quilted. I used walking foot for all the quilting that's in here. The quilting in the large applique maple leaf, that was one thing, and I did that half-ass backwards, because, you know, when you do applique, you're supposed to like draw it out on your steam a seam or whatever you're using, then cut it out, roughly cut it out, adhere it to the reverse side of your fabric, and then cut it out along the lines, and then you can lay it down on whatever and press it. Well, this was huge. This was, you had to cut out a piece of fabric 30 inches by 60 inches to make that large maple leaf. So what do? I decide to cut out the applique first on the fabric, forgetting all about the fact that I need to put it on steam seam. So I had to put the steam seam on it after the fact. Now, actually, that wasn't that difficult to do. It was just an extra step, and it went on okay, and I was able to cut around it without any problem and everything like that. But it's just not the way to do it. And then I had to do a blanket stitch all the way around it onto the piece, and actually no problem with that. I was very proud of myself with that. The other motifs of the maple leaves, those are all half square triangles, like 72 of them, to make all of that. And the background. Well, then I got it all together, and I looked at it, and because I had to adjust the measurements on the overall part, I thought, this thing is screaming out that it needs a border. Now, in the pattern, it did not have a border. In the pattern, it looks exactly what you're seeing right now, but that's because I put a border on it that doesn't exist anymore. I laid it all out last Sunday. My plan was I get it all layered, backing fabric on it and everything. On Monday morning, I would start doing the quilting because I knew it was going to take me a while to quilt it. Yeah, I didn't have enough backing fabric. So then I was trying to piece backing fabric and I thought, nope, this is useless. So I went on to Ultimate Sewing's website. I looked for this fabric. They didn't have any of that. Finally, I ordered something that was close to the same red that's in the front of it. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you put the same color red on the back. In fact, you could use any color on the back of a quilt. It doesn't really matter. But I sort of wanted red. And so I saw something on there I thought would work, so I ordered 4 meters. On Monday morning, I got a call from, or an email from Ultimate Sewing saying, yeah, we only have 2 meters of that fabric. But they sent me a picture of another one they thought that might work. And I liked it, and I said, yep, I'll take 4 meters of that. So I picked it up, curbside pickup on Tuesday. And then I spent the next 3 days getting it all layered and getting it quilted. And it took a long time to quilt. In the meantime, when I laid down my backing fabric, I didn't realize it was I'd cut it slightly too small. And when I laid it down, there were a couple of spots where I was out of backing fabric and it was going right onto the batting. That is not good. You don't want that. So I went, shit, what am I going to do now? So I thought, okay, hopefully there is enough border fabric that I can trim it down enough that I can get a binding on it that won't cut off the tips of my maple leaves. I was able to. I had to cut my 2.5-inch border fabric down to 1/2 inch, and then I put on the binding, and it worked. It worked. And then I washed it. I don't usually wash my quilts, but I've come to the conclusion now you really should wash your quilts after you've got them quilted, and I did. And I put in 3 color catchers, and I'm glad I put the color catchers in because, well, I had heard that red and black are 2 fabrics that will bleed. It did, but nothing went into the lighter color of the quilt. It all went in the color catchers, and that was great. So I'm really happy with the final product. It turned out okay, even though I did run into a lot of problems that I shouldn't have. So, anyways, I got that done, and that's why I was taking a little break today from doing a quilt. I'm just doing a little wall hanging piece with all these little kitties on it and whatnot. And where are we? And we're back. There we go. Okay. A lot of comments that we didn't see going by when... Alright, let's see what are people saying. Jeannie's not here. Had to go to Pittsburgh for a funeral. Well, that's too bad. Now, Mr. Leon says, do you recommend rayon thread for embroidery? I don't know. I've never used it, but...
Yeah, I haven't used it either. It used to be the most popular stuff to use because it was more color fast than polyester, but now the polyester is much better and much more color fast. So
yeah,
our embroidery store sells, I don't think she sells any rayon.
No. Well, the Madeira might be rayon.
No, I don't think it is.
No? Or no, it's poly something.
I
guess it's polyester
as well.
Yeah. So never tried it. Bonnie says never heard of Scissor Tails. Oh well, Scissor Tails is actually a subsidiary of OESD, and they carry slightly different patterns from Urban Threads and OESD.
I never heard of them either.
Oh, I've ordered stuff from them on,
yeah.
but it's all through OESD. So yeah, just do a search, Scissor Tails Embroidery, you'll find it. Oh, Bonnie says also love the precision products you recommend. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? Thank you, Bonnie, about the quilt. And Anita.
Sorry to hear about a funeral.
Yeah, that's Jeannie's at a funeral.
Oh,
today. Andy said. Yeah, that's not a border, people. That's the binding. The border doesn't exist anymore because I cut it down. So what you're seeing, that red that goes around it, that's the binding part of it. But yes.
What's a color catcher?
Oh, a color catcher. Okay, color catcher are little sheets. They kind of look like dryer sheets, but they're not. You can buy them in the grocery store. You have to look. They're sometimes not easy to find.
In our grocery stores, they're in with the detergent.
Yeah, in with detergent and stuff. They might be up on a top shelf. They just come in a little box, and they're called color catchers. You can buy them online, but I don't recommend it because if you go on Amazon, the color catchers are quite expensive. In the grocery store, there's something like $4.99 for a box of.
There's several different brands.
20. Yeah, there's different ones.
Dana's asking what brand we have.
We have Dr.
Yeah, where is it? What's your thing?
Yeah. Keep the audience
Dr. Doolittle's.
Dr. Doolittle. No, not Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, Bonnie, with rayon embroidery thread, is the look different than polyester? Does it shine different, or I've never really used it. I haven't really looked at it.
No, these are not called Dr. whatever. They're called, I think this is another box that I bought.
Yeah.
I think I used up the other ones. These are called Dylon color catcher. There's different brands though. Now, you get 40 of these, and I'll show you what they look like. They almost feel like paper. You could sew on them if you wanted to. But this is what they look like. And what you do is you crumple them up in your hand before you put them in the washing machine. I usually put in 2 or 3 just to make sure. And crumple them up, throw them in the washing machine, then throw in your quilt or whatever. If you've got something that's going to bleed, that you're afraid will bleed, because they're not just for quilts, throw it in, and they suck the color in the water that's coming out so it stays off your clothes and it goes into this. And you will see how much color you got, because this will turn that color. And mine were red when I took them out. Actually, I'll show you what one looked like. Just keep it.
Yeah. There are different brands. I'm not sure about Dr. Beckman. It was a doctor something or another that was there. And I have also seen them in Walmart, in our Walmart, our Canadian Walmarts, in the sewing section.
You can buy them on Amazon, but they're quite expensive on Amazon. I think this box with 40 cost me...
Well, they're not overly cheap here.
No, they weren't cheap. I think it may have cost about $9.99 or $8.99 or something like that. But I think on Amazon they ranged like $15, $20 or something.
Yeah, because you end up basically paying for shipping. So
there's one that came out of the wash. And in fact, the camera's not really picking up how red this really is, but this is pretty red. And I threw 3 of them in. But that's what they do. So I highly recommend them. It says extra absorbent fibers for maximum protection and great color results. Prevents color run accidents, allows mixed washes, protects color brightness, prevents graying, effective at all temperatures, prevents residual dirt redepositing. So, yeah, they really do work. So
yeah,
what?
I asked Bonnie about Rayon. She used it before, so.
Okay. But anyways, that's what a color catcher is. So if you've got something you're afraid is going to bleed, then I recommend them. So what's people saying?
Yeah,
Hi, Shirley. Bonnie's used Rayon without issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I asked her if Rayon looked different or what.
Hi, Teresa. Did a Zoom with Precision folks, and it was awesome. Yeah, their products are great. Marilyn says, I keep wondering where the border was in your beautiful quilt. I thought maybe it was not finished. No, it's not a border. I had a border. It's gone. That's it. Dr. Beckman. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Those were the first ones I bought, which worked fine, too. These were whatever I could get in the grocery store.
Hi, Shirley Heineman.
Yeah, Shirley Hyman. Can you use the colored catcher in mixed media projects? Well, funny you should ask, Andy, because I was just thinking. This right now is just like fabric. Well,
Oops.
almost.
Paper fabric.
But yeah, I think you could. I think you could.
Yeah.
I was tempted to take them back out of the garbage and try something like that. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll just put that over the side and try that. It's probably the same as polyester now, but when I started 20 years ago, they were more vibrant. I now have polyester I use as much as the rayon. It says, I use
thanks
Madeira
for the
rayon. Never had a problem. My machine is Innova's brother. I use color catcher too, get them at Walmart. Yeah, Shout makes color catchers as well. I've never used them, but yeah. Hi, Nairi. So, yeah, anyways, that's what I was working on, and I have ordered, and I showed this on my last Idiot Quilter. So, I'm going down the rabbit hole of applique. I had bought back, I don't know when. It was when we could go shopping. So, 2 years ago. I bought this little kit. It's called Across Canada. And it is a little, just a little small little wall hanging piece that was of Nova Scotia. Peggy's Cove, actually. Canadians know what I mean by Peggy's Cove. But famous lighthouse there in the whole bit. Anyways, there's one of these for each province in Canada, so I discovered. And I kind of like the way they look, so I decided to go online and get them all. Not a small purchase, because they have one for every province and one for every territory. We have 3 territories, although one of them is none of it, and we'll have none of it. That's an inside joke. Canadians only. So I ordered them all, and they came with the fabric that you need for them, like the snippets and that. Now you could just buy the pattern for $7.95, but I figured I'll get all the snippets that go with it, because then at least I have the right colors and I don't have to go searching through my scrap pile for everything like that, because I want to make it into a quilt. I think it'll be a really nice quilt. I'm going to talk more about it on Idiot Quilter this week and in the details. But anyways, that cost me about $300. And they haven't arrived yet. They're supposed to arrive, according to Canada Post, they're supposed to arrive on Tuesday. So we'll see. So that's another project I've got in the wings. That one I won't get done anytime soon. But anyways. Lisa says, is Precision the same as Sewing Machine Outlet?
No.
No. Precision is actually Acorn Precision Piecing Products. They make a piecing glue and they make a pressing solution, which are both absolutely excellent. The precision piecing or the precision pressing solution, if you've got a seam that will not lay down no matter what you do, you give it a squirt of this and then hit it with your iron, it gives up immediately. And their precision glue, like you've got, if a lot of people use it so they can match up their intersections on their quilting, on their patchwork, and you just put a drop or two on, line it up, hit it with your iron for just a second, and yeah, it stays. You don't need to pin it or clip it. I don't use that one a lot, but I do use the precision pressing solution a lot. But they're both excellent products. Is the pattern for the quilt the outline of the province, the symbol of the province? No, it is actually a scene. It's a landscape of a landmark. So in the case of Nova Scotia, Peggy's Cove has a lighthouse that's very, very famous in Canada. So that's what that is of. And it's done like, kind of like an abstract. Different colors, like it shows a body of water. In this particular one, it's water and there's rocky stuff, and then the lighthouse and that kind of thing. So they look, when you get them done, they look like art.
Yeah, they don't really, you can't really see. There isn't like an outline of Canada or anything like that.
Okay.
Right, it's, we'll get it. It's just a scene from each province that means something to probably Canadians. But I don't think if you were looking at it, you would necessarily, if you don't know Canada, necessarily be able to figure out that it's Canadian.
So this is Peggy's Cove, the lighthouse. This is what it looks like. Now I haven't done any thread painting on it yet or quilting, because I'm waiting until I get the other pieces, and I have to decide then whether I will do this as a quilt as you go, or I'll put it on a quilt and quilt the whole thing. I think I'm going to need to do some thread painting on it, but that's what they look like. Or this one, I don't know what the other ones are going to look like.
Have a good evening at work, Angel.
Oh, bye, Angel. But anyways, that's what we're talking about, and each one is this size, and then you can put them all together and make a quilt, or you can do a wall hanging. Well, it'll be more of a wall hanging than an actual quilt. Yeah, I've been told that.
Did they used to say anything to you when you were working?
Oh yeah, all the time. They used to call me a man on a mission. Well, you know, you got to get to point A to point B, and why dilly-dally about it, you know? Yeah, it will be a needle with thread and that kind of thing. If I missed anything here? Oh, what's thread painting? Okay, thread painting is kind of like quilting, except what you're doing is you're doing free motion quilting on something, but you're using different colors of threads and possibly decorative stitches and things to add texture to a piece. So, Andy, think of it like when we do mixed media and we add texture and layers with, say, stencils or with texture tools, you know, that kind of thing. It's kind of the same thing, except you're using thread with it. I got it, Bonnie, from a place called Thimbles and Things in Aurelia, Ontario. But if you just do a search, it's actually called Designs by Wanda, I think. But if you just do a search across Canada pattern or something like that, I'm sure you'll find, because they're probably available at different places. Now, I know that in Thimbles and Things, well, wait, now, having said that, that might not be true. Let me go get the pattern. It's actually called, it's Wanda's Designs. And the website is, no idea. Wanda's Designs. I don't know if she has a website. I'm just beginning to wonder if this is exclusive to Thimbles and Things, because the reason I say that is when I ordered them, I didn't get a tracking number or anything. So a few days after the order went in, I wanted to double check that everything was okay, and I wrote them an email and asked them about that, and they wrote back and said, yep, they hadn't shipped it yet because the lady who puts the kits together was in on Friday, and she'd be putting it all together then, and they'd be shipping it out on Friday. So now I'm wondering if this Wanda...
There's a Wanda Millen of Wanda's Designs Northcott Fabrics.
Yeah, well, that's her name. It's Millenkoff, so with Northcott Fabrics. Okay, so it's with the company, so I'm assuming you can get them whatever. Just put into your phone there, across Canada.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
And see what comes up.
She's got it's a thing on Pinterest. Across Canada, Thimbles and Things comes up.
Well, that's where I got them from. Well, maybe you can only get them from Thimbles and Things. Anyways, you just go to Thimbles and Things. Just put that in and you'll find it.
Yeah, she's got it on Pinterest too. I don't know if there's any other place you can get it.
Well, maybe it's exclusive.
You may have to do a look. You may have to do a search for that one.
You can just get the patterns. They're $7.95 a piece, Canadian. Or you can get the kit, which is what I got, and it comes with the fabrics that you need to do. In fact, the fabrics were slightly different. There was a little bit of a problem because I had to figure out of the fabrics I had in there which ones I want to use where. It wasn't very clear, because basically I think they make it up with whatever fabric they happen to have. But if you get the kit, it's $21.95. That's why it cost me $300 because I needed 12 kits. I wanted one for
Marlene says
everything.
there's another place in Innisfil, Alberta, that sold them as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I would think that they would be available in other places if she's a representative of Northcott.
Yeah, I
But
would think.
you may have to do a search for that. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, of course, thimbles and things will ship them to you anywhere in Canada too.
Yeah.
Or wherever, I'm sure. I don't know what their shipping is. Well, I know that if you're in Ontario, Quebec, and you buy over $125, I think it was free shipping. So yeah, it cost me more than that, so I got free shipping. But anyways, jumping ahead to the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. That's why I wasn't showing this stuff. Stephen, can you 3D print thimbles? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It may take you a day, but you can. So, anyways, that's what I've been working on. So, geez, how time flies. We can get
Well, it
through.
depends. You mean actual size thimbles, or are you talking about? Well, you could do that, or the ones that you made that are like the size of flower pot.
Yeah, but no, you can. They've got models. I've seen them for regular thimbles.
So I wonder how well they would work.
Yeah, I don't know because the time and effort it would take you to make a thimble and comfort of them might not be right. You know, thimbles are something that are personal to people, depending on, you know, how big their fingers are, what's comfortable for them. I think you'd be better off just to buy a thimble.
Not only that, the product that you use might be brittle if you're trying to push a needle.
Yeah, it might not. Yeah. Judith has seen that blue quilt hanging on the wall directly behind you. How's it? It's certainly eye-catching. Is it one of yours? Yes, it is. That is actually from Designs in Machine Embroidery, Dimes. It was a free pattern every month for a year, and each month it was a door that they had designed. You did it in the hoop on your embroidery machine, and then when you had them all done, you could put them together in a quilt or a wall hanging. It's more of a wall hanging than a quilt. It was a bitch to do because, and I had this discussion a couple of weeks ago, whereas I would never do another thing that has been designed by Dimes. I don't think they design their embroidery patterns, instructions very well. It is not for the beginner at all. If I had not had experience doing this kind of stuff, I think I would have pulled my hair out, and there were moments when I did pull out my hair with it. But the end result is okay. Okay, so what else were we going to talk about today? All right, so I said that we were on a Canadian men's quilters sewing thing today. Not many of us, 6 of us, at one point. I think it's still going on. It's going to be over at 5, so it's just finished. And yeah, that's always fun to do. Yeah.
Yeah, though one guy was from New York, so
Yeah, so
it sort of crosses the border.
Yeah, they kind of allow people who are not Canadians to be part of it as well. And whatever. So it's the long weekend here in Canada. It's the Victoria holiday weekend. And yeah, we're in lockdown still. And good thing because, you know, long weekend, this is the unofficial start of summer in Canada. This is the weekend when people, we call it the 2-4 weekend. It's actually Queen Victoria's birthday. Yeah, she's dead. And people go and open their cottages, traditionally go off and do some camping, go to trailers, that kind of stuff. And people are probably still doing some of that this weekend, and in about 2 weeks' time, our numbers will go up again. They've been told they shouldn't be doing that, but people will do that anyways. Not a good thing. But it doesn't look like they're going to loosen up on us until June the 2nd, and it's gradual.
Yeah.
June the 2nd, I don't know, they've got something planned. But, you know, you could go out and golf because the golfers were whining. It's an outdoor activity. They should have the golf courses open. They should have the tennis courts open. They should have the playgrounds open and all that kind of stuff because people need to have exercise. They need to get out in the nicer weather and blah, 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 blah. Well, what do I say to golfers who are whining about not being able to golf? Just kiss your balls and forget it. Just leave it. No, but our Ontario government, the gutless, spineless Ontario government, decide, oh yeah, you can go and golf. It's okay. Yeah, no, it's not. But I don't care. Let them get sick. Just don't come around me.
Yeah, Judith, I've read somewhere that a lot of people prefer the leather thimbles.
Yeah, I had one. I put a hole in it. Yeah, if it can be destroyed, I will. With it.
You're not supposed to push it down on the other side of the needle.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, so that's what's going on here
Our
now.
vaccination rate is about half of the Ontario residents have been vaccinated, but
One.
but only for
first
the
shot.
first shot. They're trying to get as many first shots in as possible, and very few of us have had second shots.
Yeah, we're still waiting to hear about what's going on with all of that. They've really screwed this up royally. But one thing is, I'm glad they didn't say, okay, we're taking the lockdown down before this long weekend.
I think, Teresa, I think I heard the other day that, okay, we have 36 million people in Canada, and there's, I think that's right, it might be 38 million.
Are we that high now? I thought we were
Yeah,
like 34
and
million. But
20 million people have been vaccinated, first shot. And there's only about 4.7% that have two shots.
yeah, it's like a low number. I think you're a little high on 20 million with the first shot.
No,
Was it?
It was.
Oh,
I heard
okay.
that on the news the other day.
I don't listen to the first shot. It has to do with the second shot more than anything. That's what we need. But yeah, we're still not in a good shape here. So that brings me up to all the. Oh yeah, our neighbors next door had a birthday party. They had their family bubble out there to celebrate our neighbor's birthday, and yeah, they weren't wearing masks, and I don't know. Hopefully they'll be okay, but you know what are you gonna do? They're nice people, but yeah. And yeah, so this would be traditionally a weekend when you get antsy because suddenly we've got nice weather. You want to go and you want to travel. We would like to do some traveling, but we can't right now. We just have to hold in there. I'd like to get my hair cut, but I can't. Hairdressers are not open yet. They're going to do this gradually, which I totally agree with.
Okay, here I got the stats.
Okay, what are the stats?
It's 20 million doses have been given, right? And I guess this includes 2 doses. And then fully vaccinated is 1.63 million.
1.63 out of
So
a
not
country
even
of 36 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sells
So
something
percentage of population fully vaccinated. I was high with my estimate. It was 4.3%.
Oh, he says there's a lunar eclipse this week. Moon's called Flower Moon. Oh, okay, interesting. Hadn't heard about that. Yeah, so I have a feeling. Well, we'll know if tonight or tomorrow night we hear fireworks in the distance, home fireworks.
That's pretty close. 37.59 million.
Oh, geez, we've grown.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had that many. I thought we were only at about 34 million. Oh, it must be all the immigrants. Whatever. Coming in on those flights from India. Oh, they stopped those. Yay. With it all. So anyways, yeah, traveling would be nice. We can't do. So, usually about this time of the year, I plan for my birthday, which is in July. And before COVID, we were making it a tradition to go to a place west of us, about 2 hours west of us. We would go to the Stratford Shakespearean festival. We'd usually take in a play that weekend, and we would do the circuit of all the quilt stores because in that particular area of Ontario, there's all kinds of them. And it was a lot of fun. And we stayed in a dorm at a college in the area that, of course, it was shut down for the summer. And you get rooms cheap, and it's just like being in a hotel, except, no room service, but that's okay. We don't use that anyways. But that's not happening this year. So I've had an idea. When's my birthday fall? What day of the week? Look on your phone. I forgot to look this up. When is my birthday this year? What's on? Because I had an idea that just struck me this morning. July 14th, do you remember?
It's a Wednesday, I think.
Oh, Wednesday. Okay. I was thinking of having a pop-up sewing day on July the 14th, which is my birthday. It's my birthday pop-up sewing day. Just thinking about it. Nobody has to register for it. I might actually do it. That's in the middle of the week. I might do it on the weekend after, the weekend before. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Everybody would be invited. You just come along. I just put up the Zoom link. It won't be like the retreat I did, the Idiot Quilter. There's not going to be any prizes or anything like that. It's just a fun day where I can sew with a bunch of people that I know. Or I don't know. Whatever comes up. I don't know. I'm playing with the idea. We'll wait and see. Because I did mention before about having something like this, but I thought, well, it might be good to have it on the occasion of my birthday. There will be cake. You don't get any. I eat it. It probably won't be cake either. Maybe a birthday pie.
Anita says pretty much everything's open.
Where's Anita?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, Joan said in upstate
Judith.
New York they're dropping mask requirements.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, but the Americans are ahead of us on their vaccinations.
Yeah, you've got a lot more vaccines in arms. The people that have two vaccines or the second dose as well. So.
And Judith says society is too instant gratification oriented nowadays. The concept of having to wait to get a want fulfilled is beyond most people. Wasn't a positive step, but good for business interests. Yeah, true. And can non-sewers attend? Yes, of course they can, Andy. It'll be open to all crafters, artisans, everything. So I'm just wondering if I should do it on the Wednesday or I should hold it on a weekend. If I should do it on like a Saturday, because I mean people are back at work and things like that. So maybe that would
7-Eleven.
be better to do it like that. Is Tuesday 7/14 and my 7/11 sounds great. Yeah, and you know what July the 14th is? It's Bastille Day. It marks the fall of the Bastille in 1789 that started the French Revolution. So my birthday's on a very famous day, and so is your grandson's. So what else were we talking about? I don't know. Oh, we had something that was kind of disturbing, though, that was in the news. This is kind of upsetting. We heard on the news that there were two little kids out playing in their driveway last week, or yeah.
That was last Sunday, actually.
Was it last Sunday? And they were killed. A kid in a car, a 16-year-old, was ripping through this subdivision, lost control of the car, supposedly, went up on the driveway and hit these two children. One of them was a 4-year-old boy. He died on the scene. And his sister, I think she was a...
No, they both died in the hospital, but it was...
Oh, did they both die?
But it was... the boy died Sunday in the hospital, and the girl died on Monday.
Yeah. I mean, and this kid, with the way our laws work on juvenile delinquents, the juvenile, what do they call it now? The Young Offenders Act, this kid will probably get off. And he killed two people. He'll have to live with that with the rest of his life.
He killed two people and injured a third.
An adult was the third one. He injured. But I mean, here you go. Like these two kids just in their own driveway. And the kid was driving a Mercedes. Not that that makes any difference. A car is a car. But it was in a fairly affluent neighborhood as well, where the homes are like a couple of $1 million piece. And it was just extremely disturbing to hear something like that. of course, because of the Young Offenders Act, we're not getting any more details
Yeah,
about the
because
kid who did it because he's underage.
Young Offenders Act in Canada is that they can't have any publication of who it is that did it
Or anything about
or anything, any details about the trial or anything. Nobody is allowed to hear that. So, and supposedly their charges are not as if it was an adult, if it was somebody that was 18 and older, they would be they would be considered an adult, and they would have multiple charges of they had multiple charges of what is it driving causing death or whatever.
Yeah. And other charges.
And if you were an adult, you would have gotten concurrent charge. You could have gotten up to life in prison for that.
Yeah, and the other thing too is he's 16 years old. We have a graduated licensing system. You can get a driver's license at the age of 16, but you are not allowed to drive without a licensed driver in the car with you for the first couple of years or so when you have that. This kid was on his own. But we don't know any more details. We don't know whether, did he steal the car? Did he take it for a joyride? Where were the parents when the kid got this car? The other thing, there's so many disturbing issues around this. It was just, I can't imagine what those parents have got to be going through. I mean, those kids were not even out in the street or anything like that.
Yeah, not only that, like there was one of the neighbors, I guess the girl was having a problem with her bicycle chain. And one of the neighbors came over to help out, and he was the one that was injured. Like, I don't know if that happened, if he was able to get out of the way or what happened, but he was in the hospital too, and with non-life-threatening injury. But I don't know what that entailed or anything like that.
Yeah, Bonnie, exactly. Privileged white kid with an affluent lawyer, parents will get him off. Yep. We had 17, Donna says, we had a 17 under influence of drugs, killed 2 people on a motorcycle, only got 3 years. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but I taught kids in that age bracket, and they knew exactly what they're doing when they do it. Yes, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can make bad decisions. That kid made a bad decision that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. And there's no two ways about it. But, you know, like as Walter said, if he'd been an adult, he would get the full charges
if
for everything.
If he was a couple of years older.
But because he's a kid, they go, oh, well, you know, he's a kid. He's thinking with a kid's brain. No. Kids' brains are not that stupid. No, I don't agree with that at all. I think the Young Offenders Act should be completely thrown out.
No, Bonnie, it was in North Toronto area. It wasn't directly near us.
No. I mean, we didn't know. It's just disturbing to hear about it. Yes, Judith, Bastille Day being your birthday, we always knew you were trouble. Yeah, nothing new there, really. Yeah, I remember starting the revolution. I'm older than I look. But anyways, that was something on the news this week. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it was near us in that it was maybe 30 or 40-minute drive from us, but I mean, it's in our province. But
well, the thing is, you know, it was in a subdivision, and we have kids in our subdivision, and they're out playing on the street and the whole bit. And this kid, they had a surveillance camera from a house in the neighborhood showing the car going by. It caught it. You wouldn't believe the speed it was doing in a subdivision. It was incredible. So yeah, it was an accident waiting to happen, and it did. So that was the unfortunate part of the whole thing.
I guess the people that have been living in that neighborhood have been kept requesting the municipality to put in like speed bumps and stuff like that to slow down traffic, because I guess that people speed down there all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's sad to say if that you know, it takes an accident like that for them to take notice of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, now after that, there'll probably be speed bumps put in. Well, it's a little too late, you know, kind of a thing. But that seems to be the war cry of our government at all levels. municipal, provincial, and federal here in our country right now, the way they've handled the whole COVID thing. So I don't know. Bonnie says, I agree. Young offenders need to allow change. I did hear about it, of course, as all Canadians here from east to west. Yeah. But, of course, you know, we need better gun control, too, in this country as well. But that doesn't get done.
Kids shooting each other, too.
Yeah, we have kids shooting each other here, too. So, I mean, God, you'd think you've woke up and you're in the States. That was somewhat of a joke, somewhat not. But actually, I was avoiding about one thing I put down here about talking about travel. Would we ever travel after COVID's over into the States again? I figured that might be too controversial to talk about because, yeah, well, we're not going to get it.
We may actually go.
We may, but it'll depend. I never feel safe when I'm in the States for some reason. I don't know why that is. Been to many places in the world, but I never feel safe when I'm in the United States in a lot of it. So sorry about that, but that's the way I feel. But we're not getting into that controversy. Anyways, I think we are done today. Anything else you want to talk about, Walter?
No, can't say.
What are we having for dinner, Walter?
I don't know.
Oh, you haven't cooked up something gourmet? What did you make? Walter did nan wrapped. I call it Moroccan, but it's not Moroccan chicken. It's, what is that?
No, it's Turkish kebabs. It was supposed to be Turkish kebabs, but I don't ever do it as a kebab. So it's just marinated chicken in a sauce.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good. It's a really good marinade. I don't know what's in it, but it's really good. Nairi says, happens here too. Hubby's best mate was killed by a speeding driver. 21 days, license suspension, $300 fine. Ridiculous. Yeah, the one thing we found when we were in Australia, we thought that on the majority of things that when we were driving around, that Australian drivers seemed to be more law-abiding than what we find them here in our own country. Maybe that was an illusion.
Yeah, that's because they have speed cameras all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But anyways, yeah. So, what are you looking at?
No, I was just looking at
what, Chef John's Turkish?
I can't remember what it's called. Never mind.
Well, anyways, it's a good recipe. Maybe we'll find it and talk about it further sometime. But anyways, I think it's time to go, people. So thanks for joining us today, and my vlog will be out as usual on Monday. Idiot Quilter will be on Tuesday, and this week on So Chatty, we're going to talk about rulers and measuring devices and things like that because we had a request to talk about that. So we'll see if we can measure up. Little humor there, very little. Anyways, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you all next week, and hope you have a good week, and hope you're all getting a second jab soon, and yeah, have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye-bye. End stream. And okay, what do you want for dinner?
I don't know. What do you want?